and nobody wants their New Year's starting off with a crash. Remember, the best celebrations are the ones with everyone gets home safely, and let's make New Year's Eve one for the books for all reasons. We want to make sure that MARTA is your first choice. We're here to make sure you skip the parking nightmare in the city and take advantage of MARTA and their resources. You can head over to MARTA for New Year's events webpage at www.itsmarta.com. And if MARTA's not your first choice, rideshare services are available to you. The Peach Drop pickup and drop-off locations are Peachtree and Martin Luther King Drive, and Marietta and Peachtree. And if you absolutely must drive, please take it slow. We want to make sure that this is an enjoyable event because we're going to have many pedestrians walking and traversing the area. We're working with the Georgia Department of Transportation to make sure that we inform motorists coming in the city as we have many visitors from out of town. You're encouraged to use every resource to help you plan a stress-free celebration. Now I'll just speak to some of the street closures that we know will cordon off the Peach Drop perimeter. We're starting at 6 a.m. on December 31st to make sure that people can get to the destination outside of their cars. We'll be closing northbound at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, southbound at Marietta and Decatur Streets, eastbound at Forsyth Street, and westbound at Central Avenue. So I'll just move on to Peach Bowl celebrations, which are scheduled for January 1st. The Peach Bowl starts at 1 p.m. Fan Fest starts at 8 a.m. and runs through 12 p.m. at the Georgia World Congress Center. Gates are opening at 1 p.m. again. MARTA and rideshare is strongly encouraged. Coordination amongst the Georgia Department of Transportation, City of Atlanta, and MARTA are ongoing, and we want to make sure that everyone that comes into our city and visitors are safe and that we have an enjoyable New Year. So now I'll pass it on to Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department's Chief of Staff, Chief Hampton.
Good morning. I'm here to speak to you about the use of legal fireworks. Speaking to you on behalf of the Fire Chief, Rod Smith, and the men and women of Atlanta Fire Rescue Department. If you choose to use legal fireworks during your New Year celebrations, we want to ask that you never place live fireworks in the hands of any children. And if you do allow children to use fireworks, we ask that you're there as an adult to watch over them. Older children should never use fireworks without an adult close or nearby. Never use fireworks if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Anyone using fireworks or standing near fireworks should have earplugs or ear protection, eye protection, as well as being in open space. Anyone using fireworks should never light them and keep that item in their hands. We ask that if you're going to use fireworks and you have them in your hands, make sure that you're in an open space. Never light them indoors. Only use them away from people, houses, or any structures. Only light one device at a time. If a firework should malfunction, we ask that you place that fire device on the ground, have a bucket of water or a water hose in place just in case you need to deploy that. Never ignite devices in a container. Do not try to relight a firework device that has malfunctioned. Again, using fireworks is extremely dangerous, so using them being impaired is not a good thing to do. So we ask that you safely use fireworks if you so choose to. Better yet, we ask that you maybe grab a blanket and a chair and you go out into your yard and leave the use of fireworks to the experts. With that being said, thank you and enjoy the festivities for the coming new year. And I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to E911 Director, Ms. Arnold.
Good morning. I'm Desiree Arnold, Executive Director for E911. New Year's Eve is a time of joy and festivities and togetherness, but it's also a time when we see a significant increase in calls to our emergency services. Last year, between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m., so this was a total of 6 hours, we received 1,753 calls into our E911 center. So this spike in call volume highlights the importance of knowing how and when to use our emergency resources effectively. First and foremost, if you find yourself in an emergency, whether it's a medical crisis, a fire, or any other urgent issue, please call 911 immediately. Our dedicated dispatchers and first responders stand ready to assist you 24/7. This New Year's Eve, I also want to acknowledge the incredible commitment of our dispatchers who will be working 12-hour shifts with off days canceled to ensure that help is always just a phone call away. For non-emergency situations, I encourage you to call 311, then use option 2. This line is specifically designed for non-emergency issues such as noise complaints, fireworks, abandoned vehicles, and any other minor disturbances. Your calls to 311 help us manage our resources effectively and keep our emergency lines open for those in urgent need. Additionally, I'd like to remind everyone that we have a non-emergency web portal. That web portal website is www.atlantagA.gov/request-dispatch, and it'll be provided to you. That's available for reporting non-emergency issues. This online option allows residents to report non-urgent matters from a cell phone, tablet, or any other electronic device without making a phone call. This ensures that we respond effectively on our emergency lines. By knowing when to call 911, when to use option 2 on 311, and how to access our web portal for non-emergency reports, you empower our community and help us maintain a safe environment for everyone. Additionally, we'll be providing these magnets to residents as a reminder of when to use 911 versus 311, and also access to our non-emergency web portal. And as we celebrate the arrival of 2025, let's do this responsibly. Look out for one another, celebrate safely, and remember that help is always available. I will now turn this over to our Chief Sherwood.
Thank you, Director Arnold. As Director Arnold says, this is going to be what we asked for is an evening of safe celebration. So citizens can choose safe celebration or consequence, and we asked them to choose the first one. We are going to be fully staffed starting at 6 a.m. in the morning when our department will go to 12-hour shifts, and we will be canceling off days for all sworn personnel as well as members of our E911 center. And I do want to acknowledge the men and women of the department that will be staying with our city, stepping away from their families so other families in the city can be safe. We will be deploying specialized units throughout the city. So if anyone chooses to drink and drive, they will meet our DUI unit, our hate team. And we ask that you please take public transportation, take MARTA, take Uber, take Lyft. That is a way to ensure a safe celebration instead of a consequence of DUI arrest. Please do not discharge your weapons in celebratory gunfire. That has deadly consequence. We've seen that here in the region. And we ask everyone that is going to be in the city to please not discharge your weapons. If we see you discharging a weapon, we will arrest you. That is going to be the consequence of the evening. The safe celebration is putting those firearms down. We also say that if you're going to come to Atlanta to street race, you're going to meet the Atlanta Police Department and the Georgia State Patrol. We will have specialized teams that we will deploy throughout the city. That if street racing is how you're going to ring in the new year, I can guarantee you you'll be bailing out of jail some days later at the Fulton County Jail. There will be a consequence for street racing here in our city. Please exercise all the tenets of the Clean Car Campaign. Lock it up, hide it, keep it with you. Do not leave anything of value in your vehicle if you're going to choose to drive in the city to take a part of any of the celebrations that we have going on. And remove all the firearms from your vehicle or keep them in a lockbox. Those firearms in the hands of a felon are going to be a consequence of crime throughout the city, and we do not want that to happen. We want this to be a safe evening. And despite the department being on 12-hour shifts, everyone working, having the fire department out, E911 fully staffed, we still need every citizen doing their part. So if you see something that doesn't look right, something that is out of the ordinary, something that looks criminal in nature, call 911. If you see something, say something so we can act promptly to make sure that we address that. And if you have any information that would lead us to be able to apprehend individuals that you know are wanted, please use Crime Stoppers 404-755-8477. Again, we ask all Atlantans, all visitors to our city, choose safe celebration and do not choose the consequences of engaging in criminal activity or unsafe behavior. If you do, we are going to be fully staffed to be able to address that promptly. And we want you to enjoy the Peach Drop and the Peach Bow, and may the best team win. And of course, we're already getting ready for the College Football Championship game right back here in Atlanta in just a few days, which we hope to be cheering the Bulldogs on at that time. And so we're open for any questions anyone may have from the fire department or Department of Transportation or the E911 or myself.
And Chief, you mentioned it's going to be all hands on deck. Can you kind of break down what the numbers, what the presence will look like, not only from your department, but cross-departmental presence here in the city throughout New Year's Eve night?
Yeah, we're going to have hundreds of officers working. Obviously, we're a department of right at 1,700 officers. Almost every one of them will be working over that 24-hour period. And we have them deployed to be in the areas where we know we're going to have a concentration of citizens. So the Peace Drop will be very well protected. We'll be deployed to make sure that it's safe. If there's anyone going to engage in criminal activities, that we quickly address that. But we're still responding to 911 calls in the 244 other neighborhoods of Atlanta, Georgia. So we'll be out protecting those neighborhoods, responding to calls, addressing celebratory gunfire, addressing DUIs, and wherever the city may call upon its police department, we're going to be there. We'll be there quickly.
Hey, Chief, I know we did not have the beach drop last year. We're having it this year. Can you talk about the anticipated growth of crowds you all expect to be out there?
Yeah, you know, every year we've had the Peach Drop, it's very crowded in the downtown space, all around that area. The commissioner went through the street closures that are in place, that is so everyone can fit into that area and enjoy its celebration. We expect tens of thousands of individuals to be there based on previous years. We also know we have a weather forecast that is conducive to large crowds coming out, and so we anticipate tens of thousands, and we'll be ready for it.
We're expecting a bigger than usual crowd with that year off. There's new hotels in downtown that were not there previously, and with the good weather, big names. Are you expecting the biggest Peach Drop ever, possibly?
Can't say that, but I say we're going to see a large one. It's going to be one of the largest ones we've seen.
You said 24-hour period, just sort of clear. 12-hour shifts start at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Does go longer than 24 hours because the football game's on the first?
Yeah, we have other units that's going to remain on extended shifts. That's the entirety of the police department. To get us through the Peach Drop, we still have staffing enhancements that are occurring to get us through the Peach Bowl that will be playing out Wednesday afternoon.
Can we talk about the 911 center? I know we've done stories about a lag and people calling and being placed on hold. Can you talk about the additional staffing your office may beef up that, so if someone does call 911, they don't encounter that hold, or can you explain that?
Yes, so our 911 professionals will be working 12-hour shifts, 24 hours, similar to what APD is working. So we'll actually start our shifts at 0700 versus 0600. And the purpose for us giving this press conference is to encourage people to only use 911 for emergency situations, which allows us to leave our staffing or our available operators open to answer those calls. So if we're not tied up on non-emergency calls, we're available to go ahead and handle those emergency situations.
What's your concern with that? I guess, has it created any issues in the past, or I guess for our viewers, it could be life or death if 311 calls are tying up your dispatchers?
That is correct. As we've spoken in the past with the media before and asked citizens and urged citizens to only use 911 for life or death emergency situations. Of course, if an operator is tied up on a non-emergency call, then that does keep them from being able to immediately answer an emergency call. So we are urging the public to only use 911 and then reference 311 option 2 or use the web portal. And the web portal is online. You do not have to make a phone call at all. You log in and enter your information. Leave us your phone number. If we have additional information, we'll give you a call back, but you will receive the same service that you would have had you called into the 311 option 2 or the 911 center without tying up operator.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about the aviation presence? I know it's kind of a delicate balance because you want to chase these street racers, but also it poses a very big danger, especially with that celebratory gunfire. What will the skies be looking like from APD standpoint?
Certainly, we'll have both our drone, our drones working as well as our normal air unit. We obviously do take precautions at times if we believe there is celebratory gunfire. So those teams are very experienced, and they'll make the adjustments of their flight times and flight patterns to make sure they're not exposed to any danger. And if we do see you firing a weapon from that helicopter, it's much easier to make an arrest, and we will do so.
If there are no questions, thank you all.
All right, Happy New Year to you all. Appreciate you all. All right.
And everyone, the names of everyone who spoke are here. You can come shoot those.
Good job. Good job. Good job.